Bring in Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister. We spoke with him yesterday.
Yeah.
Quite a different picture, but we were anticipating all of this right here and more. He was imploring people to heed all the warnings and evacuate. So he's going to give us an update on the situation that we're dealing with at this hour.
In studio with us this morning, across the way here in our backup location. Sheriff Chronister, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. I know you and your crews working so hard for the Tampa Bay community. Tell us a little bit about what your drive was like in this morning.
Yes, as you could imagine, conditions are starting to worsen already. Though that opportunity to evacuate, that opportunity to get prepared, that small little window is closing. My recommendation, my advice is that you should begin your process of hunkering down.
And Sheriff Chronister, tell us a little too. You guys have done so much to prepare for this storm. I know your emergency crews have been planning this with high water, ready for the flooding in the area as well, swift water rescues. But I know what you said this yesterday morning, which was such a word of caution for everybody at home, and that was that if you have to evacuate, you need to evacuate. Get to a higher ground, safer area, because your crews can't necessarily reach them when things deteriorate here, which we are expecting later on this afternoon as this storm approaches to the south of us, but here in the Bay Area a little later on this afternoon into this evening. Tell us a little bit about how you guys are preparing for that.
Yeah, we have all hands on deck between staff in the shelters. We have almost 7,000 people there, room for 76,000. But again, I'm glad people have heeded the warning. I'm so proud of our community. We saw the roadways full. The people were relocating. They were seeking shelter elsewhere. So I couldn't be more proud that they got so prepared. But all hands on deck. We have a heavy presence out in the neighborhoods, making sure we're keeping an eye on everyone's home, keeping those safe. And as conditions worsen, you're exactly right. We're going to have to pull everybody back and make sure that they're safe until that time where we can come back out and respond for calls. And I spoke about that yesterday. I think the worst feeling in the world is you decided not to go to a safe location and you make that call for help and help's not coming.
Right, sure, Chronister. There are nearly 7,000 people. That really underscores the fact that we are all in this together. Nearly 3 decades of experience on your part here. And you know, you can be prepared, but it still does the same thing to the nerves every single time something like this comes through.
It does. You know, listen, I think it's still time to be vigilant. I'm grateful. I think the forecast has been favorable to the Tampa area, but I think conditions are going to worsen. And like I mentioned yesterday, my biggest concern when storms like this is the flooding. With this type of rain to already saturated grounds, coupled with the winds, we're going to have down trees, which means down power lines, which means flooding conditions. It's going to get nasty. It's going to be unsafe. Avoid that standing water. Wherever you're at, it's time to hunker down and stay safe.
Sheriff, and our weather team here, of course, keeping us informed, talking about those wind speeds. You mentioned the ground already saturated with the rainfall that we've seen. That is the reason why you're saying if you told people to get out, why your crews cannot get to them. Can you just kind of speak to that right there so we can emphasize why that means people can't be reached?
Yeah, it's tough regardless of all the trucks and SUVs we have. Once that water goes above 12 inches, it can move our car and it just becomes too unsafe. Now, we have a lot of assets staged underneath the stadium. We were supposed to do it the night before. They had to replace the field to hopefully get ready for the game Sunday if we can get through this as unscathed as possible. But all our marine assets, our boats are underneath the stadium. Our aviation assets are out in the Lakeland Regional Airport in a hangar. So once this storm starts to subside and it is safe, then we launch into search and rescue. We'll go out and help open roadways. Our cut teams will be out there removing trees. We'll help Tampa Electric restore power. So again, we'll ask our crews, all our manpower to probably stay through the night at the police stations. When conditions are safe, we immediately start responding back out.
Sheriff Chronister, what about the wind speeds? Because that's something that we're also watching for as well. We're expecting those high gusts in the area, especially later on this afternoon into this evening. When are the winds too dangerous to get out on the roadways for you guys?
Very important. Once they get sustained winds between that 45 and 50 mile per hour winds, we're not going to be able to respond. And the first that's going to stop the response is emergency medical service. They have those high profile vehicles, so they won't be able to respond. And second will be us. We won't be able to. It'll just just be too unsafe. The conditions will worsen, and again, when it becomes that unsafe, we have to make sure our crews are safe as well. So please, if you're not in that safe location, make sure you get there. That window is closing.
We have a ways to get through right now. We are certainly not out of the woods. This is just coming into our area, really expecting it to make landfall this afternoon. And again, Bay Area later on today. I wanted to ask you too, you're so familiar with these storms as a Floridian, know the aftermath of them as well. And we're seeing that our weekend could look beautiful, right? The sunshine, the Florida weather back after this storm, but that can be a really dangerous time as well. We're going to see so much rain, the ground saturated, wind speeds as well, which means down trees, power lines. So as people hunker down at home, what do you want them to know after this storm? How can we help you?
Yeah, if you don't have to be out in the roadways beginning now until post-storm, don't be out in the roadways. And then people who have evacuated think, oh, it's okay now, I can go back home. We will give the all clear and it's time to come back home. And I know everyone wants to get home, right? That's our safe place. That's our happy place. We want to go home. But we won't let you home until it's safe to do so. So again, if I'm asking for something, it's just to be patient.
Patience is key. And Sheriff, you used a word earlier, and it stuck with me. You said you are proud of folks because for the most part they heeded the warnings that you threw out there as we had this conversation yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm. In 31 years, I've never seen this community be so vigilant, be so diligent from early Saturday, Sunday, getting sandbags, being at all the stores and getting the supplies that they needed, stocking up on food, medication, having a plan in place, evacuating. Again, I stand here a very proud sheriff of how this community responded.
Well, we are proud to have you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You've been such a resource of help and information, wealth of information ahead of this storm. I know you will be through it as well. So thank you so much for your service and for your crews.
Stay safe, everyone.
You be
You
safe
too.
as well, sir. Again, want to remind folks at home to download that free 10 Tampa Bay app. As we say to do this, and we cannot overemphasize this, do it safely, but check out that Near Me function on the free 10 Tampa Bay app so you can kind of submit some photographs, some video of what you're seeing near you. And as we speak